and welcome to my July wrap-up, and I did all of the readathons in July. I can't quite believe how many readathons I did. I did the Book Junkie Trials, Middle Grade Magic, the Medievalathon, D&D readathon, and the Reading Rush with various levels of success. And so what I'm going to do is go in order of the Book Junkie Trials and tell you here what other prompts these filled for the other readathons, because I think that's just going to be the easiest way to go about this. I was an outlaw for the Book Junkie Trials, which meant that the first prompt I did was Crimson Peaks, and for that I read the first Legion comic, which was Prodigal, and I loved it exactly like I did the first time I read it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I gave it 4 stars. The second prompt I was going to do was Queendom Stone, and for that I had chosen Shadow King Rising, but it turned out in the end that I wasn't going to read that one upon looking at the reviews all over again, because according to that comic, Legion became autistic through trauma at 10 years old, which is complete and utter twaddle, quite frankly, and I just wasn't going there whatsoever. So instead I stole Down Among the Sticks and Bones of somebody else's TBR instead, because that was one of the advantages of being a outlaw. This book followed Jack and Jill from Every Heart a Doorway and what happened in their world when they were in there, and I loved the dark atmosphere of this. It was so dark and so fairy tale-esque. It was absolutely beautiful. The vampire and the Frankenstein aspect of this just appealed to my heart so much. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. My only thing with it was that I kind of wished that we'd had a bit more detail in some places and sort of followed Jack and Jill throughout the book a bit more on how they changed to adapt to their world. I wanted a bit more of that, but that's just because I love that kind of world, and that was basically my only thing I sort of wanted more from with this book. Apart from that, I thoroughly enjoyed it and I gave it 4 stars. I also read the first story in this, which is the Spider-Man Greatest Villains comic, and I read the Mysterio one from this because obviously the new Spider-Man film came out. Thoroughly enjoyed it, 5-star film, absolutely loved it. That cliffhanger was incredible, and I'm not going to stop thinking about it for a while, but with this comic I read the Mysterio one because obviously Mysterio was in the film, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not much of a fan of like the 80s style of this comic because I'm just not a fan of the 80s comic book style in itself, but I still really enjoyed myself, and it kind of worked with what happened in the film as well, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It didn't fit any prompts though, but I still gave it 4 stars because I really enjoyed myself. I then had to go on to Forgotten Forest, and for that I read SpiderMan Deadpool number 8 Road Trip. Again, thoroughly enjoyed this series. I know this isn't everybody's favourite series of Spider-Man and Deadpool, but I really enjoy it. I don't know why, I just really enjoy this series, and I just really love it. I've got nothing else to say about it apart from I really love it. I found it hilarious. The fourth wall breaks in this one specifically just appealed to me so much. I loved all of that business and everything else in it, and I gave it 4 stars because, again, there were a couple of problems, but I still really enjoyed myself, and I think this is one of my favourites of the entire series, so 4 stars. I then went on to The Weeping Falls, and that meant Skullduggery Pleasant, The Dying of the Light, the final book in the first ever Skullduggery Pleasant series, and I love this. It was a solid 5 stars. It was amazing. I was so tense the whole way through it. I couldn't stop reading. It was so tense, and I was constantly on the edge of my seat going, oh god, what's gonna happen? And it was so good. It was so good. If you see my reading vlog, you can see that I was literally screaming by the end of it. It was so good. I can't say anything else without spoilers, but it was so good. Everything paid off beautifully. I absolutely loved it. 5-star read. Oh, I love this series so much, but this one was just, it was something else, man. It was something else. Then for the Bookie Grail, I went on to The Colour of Magic, and again, absolutely loved this one. I thought it was brilliant. Obviously, I think all Terry Pratchett books are brilliant anyway as standard, but this one just, I absolutely loved it. I love seeing where the Discworld came from and these original versions of these characters and comparing them to what I know of them now and how they've grown over the series. I absolutely love that. I love seeing Rincewind and Death together, sort of like how they interacted with each other for the first time, and all the hints at like the Octavo and just the luggage as well. I love the luggage, and this one has left you on a cliffhanger, and unfortunately I didn't get to the Light Fantastic, so I'm going to have to wait for that because I can't fit it anywhere in my notes, so I'm going to have to wait until like September to find out what happens. Well, I'm saying that like I don't already know because I've watched the adaptation, but I absolutely love this book and gave it 4 stars. It's not the whole father for me, but I still absolutely loved it. After I completed the Book of Grail, I obviously then went on around the rest of the map. I'm saying that I actually went around the rest of the map in between books for the original Outlaw prompts, but never mind, I still read these books. So the first one I want to talk about is The Boys, which I read for Orc Grove. Now this one is incredibly sexist, it's incredibly misogynistic, it's so violent and gory and sweary it will make Deadpool blush, but I loved it. I can't tell you why I loved it so much. I just absolutely loved it so much I can't even tell you. I gave it 5 stars, and I don't know why, because it was so sexist and misogynistic that I should have run screaming from it, but I absolutely loved it. I can't explain why I do. I just absolutely loved it. And also because this was a book for the reading rush, I did watch the adaptation of it as well and thoroughly enjoyed myself. The only thing that annoyed me throughout the adaptation was Carl Urban's wandering English accent that went between English to New Zealand with every other word. That's the only thing that annoyed me. The rest of it was so messed up and gory and sweary and bloody. I absolutely loved it. It was a 5-star TV show and it's a 5-star comic, and I can't wait to read the next one. Then I went to the Empty Barrel Inn and I read Legion #2, Invasive Exotics, and this one again was brilliant. I love seeing Legion battling himself all the time and how he sort of grows as a character all the time and just how he is as a character. I find it fascinating, and this storyline is unbelievably good, and how he views Charles and the X-Men compared to himself and how he wants to bring peace between the X-Men and the humans. It's just amazing. I absolutely loved it, and again it was a 4-star read. I cannot wait for the next one. I don't currently own it, but it's definitely very high on my to buy list. I then went on to Dwarf Man and I read Spider-Man Renew Your Vows #2, The Venom Experiment, and again thoroughly enjoyed this book. Honestly, so good. I love seeing Peter and MJ together and how they work as superheroes together and how they work with little Annie Mae also as a superhero and how they interact with the X-Men and like the consequences of having a superpowered child in this world was just amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and it's all about consequences and friendship and love and everything, and it was pure Spider-Man for me, and I absolutely loved it. Again, 4-star read, brilliant. I then went on to Old Pirate Road, which wasn't originally on my TBR, but then I remembered that I needed to read AVX, and this takes place in part on sea, because there's a giant battle in the sea, so it definitely counted. This also ties into my Legion comic, so I really badly wanted to reread this one again, and I still loved it so much. Brilliant, still got emotional at the end, absolutely brilliant, 4-star read. Not as good as House of M, but still a beautiful wrap-up. And then finally, the last thing I went on to was Nevernight, and unfortunately, I only got 302 pages in because apparently I have a serious problem right now with trying to reread physical books. But I still really enjoyed myself. I just can't seem to reread things at the moment, and I would finish it for the newts, but unfortunately I think it's just going to slow everything up. But I'm just going to trust myself in knowing what happens at the end to go on to God's Grave, because I remember 90% of it, so I'm pretty sure I should be fine. Hopefully. And that was absolutely everything I read for the Book Junkie Trials, Middle Grade Magic, the D&D Readathon, the Medievalathon, and the Reading Rush. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with what you read for any of these. I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check out. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here. And over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, guys, bye.